Because the truth is, I help people have not just love, but epic love, where you learn how to take your wounds and make them your value. Like nobody can take away what you've gone through and how strong you are. And I like to say that you take your traumas and you make them your treasures, and you take your pain and you make it your pleasure. And if you're still successful and thriving and alive, then it becomes your armor, but like with gold and glitter. Like, I'm so proud of how far I've come. I'm so proud that I was able to tolerate and still rise or be so resilient from what happened to me. So it really does transform the way you perceive.
Hey there, Ryder, what's going on? Now, before we get into today's episode, I have a question for you. How long have you been sitting on your book idea? If you're tired of thinking about it and ready to actually make progress, join me the last Sunday of every month for my live writing masterclass. Now, this isn't just another class. It's an interactive space where you finally gain some clarity on your book and help you break through some mindsets that are blocking you and get the roadmap to actually start writing. And as a bonus, when you register, you'll get a free 20-minute coaching session with me. Spots are limited. Don't wait. Click the link in the show notes or scan the QR code to sign up. Let's get your book out of your head and onto the page. I'll see you then. Welcome back to another lovely episode of 30 Minutes of Power, TOP, your one-stop shop for all things encouraging, entertaining, motivating. And today, we're going to have some relationship education going on. We are about to unpack some truths about relationships, self-worth, and living in alignment. Today's guest is someone on a mission to radically shift how we approach love and marriage. Chaya Garcia is a dynamic relationship coach with a raw, real, and deeply spiritual approach to healing inner wounds, spotting red flags, and reclaiming the love you truly deserve. She's helped countless men and women navigate dating, break toxic relationship patterns, and build marriages that are not only sustainable, but are sacred. Chaya, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Jody. I am so happy and honored to be here.
So it's Jori, but we're good. That's fine.
Jori. Sorry, I was reading it real fast. Jori. There you go.
No, we're good. Most of my listeners
Okay.
know my name already. So
Okay, cool.
You share that I'm going to jump straight in. You share that your journey started from a place of deep pain. You said you were literally curled up in fetal position. What happened in that moment, and what made you turn inward instead of outward to find healing?
Yeah, such a great question. So basically, I was a super successful young 26-year-old at the time. I had my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, high honors, running every day, super fit, owned my own house, had a cute boyfriend, the works. But I was so successful and simultaneously so sick because I had an addiction to external approval, to other people validating me, to other people telling me, you're doing the right thing. And all of the love and the approval that I needed and wanted, I was just so used to getting it from other people. And so the guy at the time, I'm so excited. I am like pumped. I make breakfast, I make coffee, I get all ready. I'm doing all this stuff for our relationship. And then he comes in and he's not so excited. And he slumps over and I'm not so really interested in anything. And then he proceeds to tell me that he is going to be breaking up with me to go do drugs upstate New York. And here I am, all ready to go, investing all this energy in our relationship. We've been together for so long already. And I'm like, what just happened? So he leaves, and there I am, fetal position, crying, almost numb. Like, how did this happen? But I had this moment of divinity where I got to ask myself, how did I create this scenario? How did I create this scene where I'm excited, I'm invested, I'm making breakfast, and he's so disinterested to the point that he breaks up with me after so much time? Like, how am I a part of this totally effed up story? And so I became truly obsessed with how two people choose each other and what makes one person attracted to somebody versus another person. So let's say there's Joe and Jack, and they're both super hot, totally, and they look identical for this example. What makes you say Jack is so your type and Joe's not? What is those unconscious things where you have so much chemistry and connection? You've never met anyone like this before, but then they end up beating you or hurting you or doing so much drugs that they're not available for you or leaving you, right? But you had so much chemistry. What happened? So I became obsessed with that part, how two people choose each other. And then I spent even more time in the 12-step program room, learning about addiction, learning about codependency, and changing my whole life around so that I never attracted an addict again. And then thank God now I'm in my 8th year, super happily married. But that's how it started.
Wow. Okay, that's a mouthful, and I have so many
I
questions.
know.
My neurodivergence is kicking in, and I love it. It's I all the places and spaces I want to go. I want to start first off with what you just said because I think it was something very powerful about the way that you framed what you just shared. You said, "What did I do to create this?" And I think that ownership and taking accountability for your part in that it not only puts you in a space of just being a mature human, but then it empowers you to understand like if I did this, then I can fix it. Like there's something I can do, right? I'm not a victim in this. Like what did I do to cause this, to create this? And I think as God's offspring, right? We have the ability to create, and sometimes I don't think we understand like we create situations in our lives that then result to really poor outcomes because we didn't align those things with the creator. And so, all right,
Yeah.
so I read some of your material. You talk a lot about going into a relationship hoping that the other person will make you whole. So I want you to touch briefly on why is that dangerous and why is that so common, do you think?
Okay, so just to answer your first part, yes, but like what you said, and then I'll go to the question. Like, yes, I needed to take full responsibility because in that moment, it was the easiest thing to blame him. He's breaking up with me to go do drugs. Like, it was a setup. I could be so easily like, he's the a-hole, he's the addict, he doesn't know what love is. How can he choose drugs over me? What's wrong with him? It was the easiest thing for me to do, to blame him in that moment. But I would have just facilitated and recreated that victim state of not giving myself enough attention and enough honesty to take back my power and shift my life.
Mm,
So that's
I
to
love
that.
that.
And
I
then,
love.
yeah. And then to your question about why it's so dangerous for people seeking out others, I was rapping with my daughter in the car. She's like, Mom, rap. And I was like, what? About what? And she, whatever. So one of the things is about how we need to love ourselves. And when we go out into the world and we say, I need love and attention, which is true. It's a real human biological need. Like they did studies with baby monkeys, give them water, give them food. But if you don't give them love and attention, they perish. Like they don't live. So human beings aren't aware that it's like a real need for love and attention. But it's generated from ourselves. It has to come from ourselves. Otherwise, we're like, are you going to love me? Are you going to love me? Are you going to save me? What about you? And we literally go into this world with a severe void of a real need to survive that's not being met because we weren't taught how to love ourselves and that it starts within ourselves. And then we unconsciously and ignorantly attract men or women, depending who you're talking to, who are just going to hurt us and continue the cycle of victimhood and voids because we were coming from a place of unhealthiness and void. So you attract more of what you are, not more of what you want.
So when you say you choose the pain, not addressing our own wounds, what are some of the most common wounds do you find in people when you do this work?
So the name of my podcast is going to be called 100% Stop and 100% Lovable because that's the most common wound. Everyone, I was like, let's just name the title the most common wound. Everyone has gone through trauma. Everyone. By the time you're an
Mhm.
adult, something weird happened to you and somebody hurt you and maybe you hurt somebody, whether it was intentional or not. By the time you're an adult, everyone has had trauma, or your mom did this, or your dad's no longer alive, or your dad was an addict, or your mom was this, or everyone has their own story. And at some point, that story decreases your value, your internal worth. And you say, oh, if people really knew how screwed up I was, how effed up I was, they wouldn't really love me. Like if they, I'll show up to the world looking good, smiling with my success. But if they really knew from where I came or that thing that happened to me or that thing I did to that person, like they wouldn't really love me. And so we
Mhm.
carry this like subconscious belief that we're not fully lovable, that there's parts of us that are lovable, the good parts,
but that we as a whole aren't truly good at our core. And
Mm.
it is that that just comes into relationships that then if you feel shame over something you've done or that has happened to you, you would allow people to abuse you because it matches your internal home. You already don't feel fully good. So you allow someone to treat you not fully good because it matches who you are and it almost feels good and deserving and familiar to the space you already are and created.
You, my, this is the most enriching conversation I could probably have about this space and this topic, mainly because I do a lot of inner work. Like, so I help people write books, right? And so part of that writing of the book is unearthing and excavating their story and reframing the narrative that they've told themselves, right? About what they do deserve, what they are, who they are, right? What their values are. And so it's the inner work that I'm more interested in, but it's through the lens of writing this book, right? That I'm able to kind of like help bring it out of people. And the idea that we have already crafted this identity within ourselves. And the only thing that we're doing is we're externally looking for the pieces to match whatever we believe about ourselves internally. And I think you said it very poignantly, like we are looking for the thing that matches the way we feel inside and our beliefs and our views and our thought life and so good, so good. Okay, all right, listen, when is this podcast coming out? What's happening? Where's the podcast? Where is it? Where is it? Hiya, where is it at? Tell me right now.
It's coming. Okay, so there I have a podcast coming called 100% Up and 100% Lovable. And while we're plugging my work in here, if you want to send me a DM, you can do it on Instagram at Epic Love Expert. Because the truth is I help people have not just love, but epic love, where you learn how to
Mm.
take your wounds and make them your value. Like nobody can take away what you've gone through and how strong you are. And I like to say that you take your traumas and you make them your treasures, and you take your pain and you make it your pleasure. Meaning no one can take you down once you own from where you came. And if you're still successful and thriving and alive, then it becomes your armor, but like with gold and glitter. Like, I'm so proud of how far I've come. I'm so proud that I was able to tolerate and still rise or be so resilient from what happened to me. So it really does transform the way you perceive your worth and what you attract.
Listen, you're giving so much language to everything that I do. I'm just like, is she in my brain? This feels wonderful. Like you're like scratching all the itches. I love
Love it.
practicals. I love practicals. I need you to help my audience. You teach about seeing red flags and not painting them green. I'm such a wordsmith and like I see words and I see colors. And so teaching about seeing red flags and not painting them green. I want you to explain that a little bit, but what are some red flags that people ignore in your work? What are some, like, give me three of the main ones. And what do you mean by not painting them green?
Yeah, so I'm a relationship coach for all of your audience listeners, and I help single women primarily who are already successful, master their money, master their career, now master their private personal life. So if you're listening and you want that next relationship, but you don't want to repeat the old patterns, definitely send me the DM an Epic Love Expert. And what they basically paint, I like to say they almost paint it pink. Let's say for the women, it's like you basically have two different options when you go out into the dating world. And so most women, I give them the identity of a painter versus an investigator. So the woman who's a painter, right before the date, she's all dressed up. She just spent an hour getting ready. She puts her paint brushes in her purse. She takes her little French painter hat. She puts it on. She's looking all cute. And she's like, it's going to be it. I mean, he is hot and maybe even rich. Like, this is it. I'm just going to paint this pretty picture, whatever color I want, pink with sparkles. And she goes out, and then he does something that kind of makes her feel a little off. And she's like, nope, gonna take my paintbrush out, a little pink paint, sparkles. That didn't bother me at all.
Oh.
That was fine. And then another a little bit later on, he like sits too close to her or he touches her leg and she's like, dude, first date, what's up? Too much. And then she's like, nah, that's fine. That's fine. And she takes out her little paintbrush and paints that over in her mind because he's cute and he's sweet. We have a good time and da-da-da. We have the same mom's birthday, whatever the stupid synchronicities that they like to come up with. And then she goes home and she goes back into the mind of the image that she had on this date and she just paints all those little black spots pink.
all those little red flags. We'll put some glitter on it. And so you are hoping that it works out. You're hoping he wants you. You're hoping to be loved versus the investigator, which is the right, better way to do. You go out, you spend max 20 minutes getting ready. You're like, I don't know if this is going to be my guy. 99.9% of the men I meet, not going to be the one. There's only one true soulmate. So likely that this is going to be it? Not very likely. You give yourself a good 20. And you take your paintbrushes out, you lock them in the closet, and you put your investigator glasses on and your little notebook, and you just go out on the date so feminine, so deserving of love, so disinterested if he chooses you because you've already chose you. You've already got you. And you're just an investigator. You're just going into that date investigating. Is this man's character what I want for my life, for my children, for my future? Let me take some notes. He sat way too close to me. He hit on the waitress. He drank way too much wine. You're just taking notes in your mind, and you're so feminine, observed and reserved and observing. And then you go back and you're not like, oh my God, I hope he calls me or texts me. You're just like, let me go through my notes. How did he make me feel? How did he behave? Would I trust him with my empire, with my billions of dollars, whether that's my money or my health or my kids or my future? Would I leave my small child alone with him, fully caring that he would know what to do? And you sit back in your femininity and your love and you investigate. And if it's not that man who makes you feel safe and who's spiritual and connected, you don't hope he calls you back. And you move on with your life and your own love.
I'm sorry. I'm glad the video camera was on you and not on me because I had a whole moment over here. I walked away from the camera. I threw my hands in the air. I took off my hat. I put it back down. I covered my face. I don't think. Did y'all hear what she just said? She said you are so disinterested in him choosing you because you've already chosen yourself. If this girl ain't preaching, people, listen, this podcast better start tomorrow. That's all I know. Let's listen.
I mean,
I'm all right. I love everything. I love everything you're saying. I love it. I love it. I concur. I'm on board. Like I'm with it. I dig it. Here is the one question, and I don't even know if we have time enough for you to answer it right now. How do you help women trust their instincts again after she's experimented and become this super masterful Leonardo da Vinci type painter and she's painted over? How do you help her to trust her instincts again?
it's about coming back to yourself. The reason we lost trust in ourselves is because we left ourselves in our moments of need. We became emotionally unavailable for us. We had a big dark thought. We opened Instagram. We had a big dark thought. We opened Netflix. We had a big dark thought. We called up our friend. We literally have been so conditioned to leave ourselves, especially when things are painful or uncomfortable, that we become what we never want in a man, which is emotional unavailability and disconnection and abandonment. So for her to relearn, she has to want to come back to herself, want to get curious about herself, find a little picture of her when she was a baby girl and hang it up on her wall and say, I will never hurt you. You deserve only good. I love you. And when she feels fear or anxiety or depression or whatever, instead of running towards a friend or a bar or the phone, she says, I got you. What's up? What? I want to have a conversation. Why are you so anxious right now? What's triggering you? Talk to me. And she re-engages with herself in a way where she's no longer afraid of her emotions and her existence, so that she can remove the shame and actually allow herself to truly believe she's lovable to attract someone who will truly love her back.
All right, you said release the shame. So I co-authored a book called More Than Enough. I want to talk about self-worth for a little bit. Something people say that they have, but they actually don't embody, right? And I know you don't know any of these people, and I don't know any of these people, but just in case they're listening out there, what is the difference between knowing you are worthy and living like you are?
It's the proof in the actions. I've heard people tell me they love themselves and still smoke pot or out or cigarettes. I'm like, dude, that's not love. It's like basically saying, he loves me, but he also hits me, but he loves me, but he also cheats on me, but he loves me, but he just left and it's like 2 a.m. I don't know where he is and he's not answering, but he loves me. It's like you've distorted what love is. Like, that's not love. That's abuse. That's illness. That's disconnection. That's a shit show of a life. That's not love. So when we have that with ourselves, there's a difference between I am worthy, I love myself, which everyone and their mother says when I ask them, like, do you love yourself? Of course I love myself. Okay, but what do you do? What are your actions? What's the proof of it? Oh, well, like I eat whatever I want and I don't really work out and I have really toxic friends and my mom still calls me up and criticizes me and I let my sister tell me how not good I am and I hate my job and my boss yells at me, but I can't quit because I have bills and all this BS that we tell ourselves why we're staying in crappy situations. And so the proof of living a worthy life is when you start removing toxic people, places, and things. You have a friend, I don't care if you've known her since she was 4. If she is now draining your energy, you say, I love you. I'm not interested in having a conversation for a while. I'm focusing myself, bless you. And you block her or don't talk to her or just tell her you're not going to be answering her calls for a while. You do that with your relatives, who whichever are critical. You leave the job, you remove yourself, stop going to the restaurant that just had cheap food, but you didn't like the waitress, whatever. You start becoming more conscious of what's giving you energy and inspiring you and what's draining your energy and distracting you from you. And then you make that like the biggest deal in the world. And you start going towards the people, places, and things that uplift, inspire, and help you get to your best goal and remove all the people, places, and things, no matter how guilty or uncomfortable it feels, because you need you first.
Oh my gosh, this is, listen, I don't, all right, listen. All right, so we're friends already. Let's just call it what it is, because everything you're saying, I feel like I've had internal dialogue with myself over the last month about all these things. Like I just did a live about what to cultivate and what to cut off, right? And then what to release, and then what do I relegate in, right? Like what do I revel in versus what do I release? And these are the things that God keeps giving me in terms of like this dichotomy of, here is what I'm trying to get you to get rid of, and here is what I'm trying to get you to anchor into. Um, and I love your language. Like you're literally painting this beautiful canopy of just all the things that have happened, these synopses and these spikes in my brain, and it's becoming this beautiful picture of love, of intentionality with self, of just owning who you are, of worthiness, of doing the deep inner work. All right, so I have to land the plane. I don't want to. Hi, I don't want to. I want to stay here forever, but we have to, because it's 30 minutes of power. What's the one thing you want our listeners to know about love before they commit to anyone else?
Well,
I'm,
love
I'm,
is
I'm rephrase it.
generated.
I'm gonna rephrase it. I'm
Okay,
gonna rephrase that because
sure.
I'm being told to. What is the one thing they need to know about love before they commit to anything or anyone else?
Love is stable and it's serene. My favorite quote that I came up with over my years of doing this work is, if you're trying to make it work, it's not working. For relationships, if you're trying to make it work, it's not working. And it's so okay to feel the pain and let it go. A healthy relationship is so serene. Yeah, you have challenges and little quarrels and things you got to work through, but it's serene. You're calm through the quarrels. You're calm through the challenges. You're not like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. So, real love, it's peaceful and it's consistent and it's stable and it's serene. So, if you're trying to make it work, let's fight for love. We're just going to go to more therapy and more. Dude, it's so broken. Get out of it. Cry, mourn, give yourself a funeral, not you, but like the relationship of, and then after you're done crying and mourning the loss of what it was supposed to be, refocus on yourself and you will attract the right one that it's serene. But you have to develop enough faith in God that if you let go, something better will come.
All right, just tell the people how they could connect with you again, girl. Because I know they looking. They done went back to minute 13 where you told them how they connect with you and where to find you on Instagram. So go tell them again, so they don't got to go backwards. Just tell them again.
So you can send me a DM on Instagram at Epic Love Expert. And if you are ready for coaching right now and you're a single, successful woman where you really want that next relationship to be the relationship, and you have the money, time, and energy to invest in yourself, because this is a coaching program, you're gonna have to invest in you. Instead of a doctor bill, you get a soul bill. And that means you get to choose you and take your resources for skills that you'll use for your whole life, preventatively and in love. And so if you're really ready for that, you can also just book a direct call with me at www.connectwithchaya.com. So that's my personal booking link with my calendar. You could book a call. The first call is free just to get to know you and to connect. And you go to connectwithchaya.com, and let's chat. You deserve this.
Chaya, thank you so much. Thank you for being a beacon of truth and love. Your words today, I honestly believe they're going to set people free, because I'm already feeling all good and bubbly inside. So to our listeners, you know what it is. 30 minutes of power, be an empowered person, using your power to empower others. Till next time, people. Peace. All right, before we wrap up today, I want to remind you, if a book is on your heart, then this Sunday is your chance to finally take that first step. Join me for a live writing masterclass, and we'll break down the book writing process and get you moving forward from idea to execution. So head over to jorioneal.com/your_story_matters. Thanks for tuning in to 30 Minutes of Power. We hope today's episode inspired you to take action and make a positive change in your life. Remember, your power is meant to empower others. So share this episode with someone who needs encouragement today. We'd love to hear from you, so connect with us on Instagram at 30 Minutes of Power or email us at azironsharpensiron@gmail.com. Until next time, stay empowered and keep empowering others.
30 minutes of power.